One book by the Puritans that has been really helpful to a lot of people in terms of their spiritual life is a book by Thomas Brooks called Precious Remedies Against Satan's Devices. We're all, as Christians, aware of the fact that Satan tempts us, but nobody like the Puritans has ever analyzed how Satan tempts us, the different kinds of approaches that he takes, the ways that he twists the truth, and how clever he is, but also how we can resist him. And Thomas Brooks just goes through and he considers lots of different cases, ways that the devil can make sin look really good so that we see the bait but we don't see the hook. And then he lays out several remedies for each one of those kinds of temptations. It's a very equipping book, and it's a very practical book for Christians to use. So Thomas Brooks, and this is part of the Puritan paperback series, so this is a Puritan work that has been slightly revised and edited to make it more easy for the modern reader to read.
Yeah, this is a classic, and I was at a gathering once with Reverend Irfan Hughes in Pennsylvania. He was pastor then in Grove City, and Grove City College is there. And it was just a beautiful thing. But on Sunday nights after church, there were like 60 to 70 young people that would come over to his house every Sunday night. And they would sit on the floor. You couldn't even see the color of the carpeting, literally shoulder to shoulder, they'd sit on the floor. And he would take them through this book.
Oh, that's great.
And so I sat there and listened, and he would read a couple sentences, and he'd make a comment, and he'd say, any questions? And hands are going up all over the room. It's so practical for today. And he got through 3/4 of a page, in the evening.
Wow.
And next week, I suppose you do maybe a page and a half. But for years, they were going through this book, talking about all of Satan's devices and that type of thing. And so relevant, so practical for today. Imagine talking about a book like this for 5 years with young people. What modern book would you find that would keep their attention for 5 years? Here it is, an old classic.
Perhaps just one more. And it's Richard Brooks's Precious Remedies Against Satan's Devices. What I really appreciate about this book was the way in which Thomas Brooks took time to look at the various ways in which Satan tempts us, but this time deliberately taking us to God's word like a master physician of souls to show us the way in which we should instead resist temptation. The one that I easily recall from my reading in those days was the statement that Satan shows you the worm, but hides the hook. That might be more of a modernized way of putting it. But I've never forgotten that. The fact that often, like the picture of fish in a river or stream, all that you see is the appetizing little worm that is hanging in the middle of the waters. But the moment you bite it, after that, you pay for it dearly. I remember as a young adult in those days seeing my own friends falling prey to the enticing sounds, the exciting sights of the world, and in due season destroying their lives. My mind going back to the precious remedies against Satan's devices and thinking, if only they had read Brooks, what a difference it would have made to their lives.